After more than a year of being missing under tragic circumstances, Code finally appears in this chapter. But unfortunately, once again, he runs away after nearly being defeated for the second time by Uzuhiko Boruto. It seems certain that Mamushi, or more accurately, Bug, will not return. Sarada's eyesight is getting worse. Even with glasses, her vision remains poor, and most surprisingly, Amado manipulated Koji's toad. Or perhaps more accurately, with Amado's genius, he created a toad that looks exactly like Koji's. So yeah, I'm Nim without the E. Spoilers for chapter 34, 2 blue Vortex are here. But before that, help me get 100 likes or 1k hype points. And once again, thank you so much, guys. So since this is just a leak, I won't explain or read out every line of dialogue. Instead, I've summarized 14 key points you need to know. First, the leak opens with a follow-up scene where, after Togodama Mamushi was previously exposed, and of course, with no intervention from the enemy, Boruto immediately secures Togodama Mamushi and intends to return it to the tree where Bug is trapped. And of course, that place is the Shinju dimension, or where Ishiki is located. Second, you should also know that there's actually a significant difference regarding the Togodama we've known so far. It's not about its form or anything like that, but rather who the Togodama is manifesting from. Because as we know, the Togodama so far has originated from a shinobi. Meanwhile, Bug itself isn't a shinobi, and the difference lies in how quickly that Togodama will rot. While a Togodama from a shinobi takes a long time to rot away, unfortunately, a Togodama that doesn't originate from a shinobi's chakra manifestation will rot much faster. Third, after Inojin's eyes were destroyed due to his incredibly heroic decision to sacrifice himself and end this invasion, Chapter 34 confirms something truly impressive. But regardless, Himawari's strength and abilities are truly on a different level. Inojin's eyes, which had previously been destroyed, are shown in this chapter to have returned to normal, as if nothing had ever happened. And of course, as Inojin's consciousness fully returns, Himawari's expression becomes one of pure joy and happiness. Fourth, considering that everything ended well and only Sarada was in critical condition, Konohamaru took Sarada to the hospital. But at the same time, there was something very suspicious. In short, during the conversation between Koji and Boruto, they realized that, after all, every divine tree human bears a claw mark. This means there's a possibility that Code knows about all of this. But of course, since Code also has a mission to kill Boruto, Koji believes he's definitely still hiding, biding his time, and waiting for the right opportunity. And on the other hand, since Bug is already dead at this point, that means Code must already know that too. Yeah, that's what Koji knows. Fifth, Koji Kashin's ability to see the future made him realize one important thing. If the bearer of the Thorn Soul goes to Bug's territory, then Code will almost certainly appear. That place is too advantageous for Code. Minimal interference, minimal reinforcements, and full of claw marks directly connected to the Divine Tree's body. That's why, in most of the future possibilities Koji sees, Code always comes to take advantage of that opportunity. Sixth, there's one major problem. The battle against Bug has altered the very shape of destiny itself. The future that was once clear is now beginning to branch out into many new possibilities. Although Code's appearance remains the most likely outcome, what happens afterward is no longer certain, and according to Koji, it is from this point that destiny begins to split into 3 different paths. First, Boruto kills Code. According to Koji Kashin, the best outcome of all these possibilities is to eliminate Code right there. Because as we know, Code's whereabouts are currently very difficult to track and predict. So if they manage to defeat him now, it would be a huge advantage before the situation gets even more complicated. However, the problem is there's another possibility where Code actually manages to escape after realizing his chances of defeating Boruto are very slim. And if that happens, the course of destiny will change again. And the worst case scenario among the 3 paths is that after failing to face Boruto directly, Code will most likely shift his target to Sarada Uchiha. But amidst all this complexity, one crucial conclusion emerges. The flow of destiny that Koji could usually see is starting to unravel and no longer follows the expected possibilities. The future that was once clear is now beginning to veer off course. 7th, Koji draws a conclusion from a future or probability that is extremely surprising. One highly unexpected future possibility, not only does Code come to fight, but he actually changes course after realizing the true situation. So out of all the branches of destiny Koji sees, there is one path where Code is no longer the main enemy, but instead works together to face a greater threat. In other words, he will team up with Boruto to defeat Jura. But in any case, we have to admit this is a ridiculous decision, because after all, Koji considers Code a potential threat. So even though the risk is small, Koji still suggests that Code should be killed to eliminate any future risks. 8th, Amado manipulated Koji's toad, or perhaps more accurately, Amado created his own toad that closely resembles Koji's Kashin toad. And what he'll do with that toad? Well, this all ties into the leak of information about Koji's Kashin abilities that Amado has learned in recent chapters. Yeah, that's just how it is. Nymph. Sarada has been in the hospital recovering, and her eyes seem fine. But that's not really the case. I mean, even though Sarada's eyes were healed thanks to Himawari's chakra, unfortunately her vision has actually gotten worse, especially after she started wearing glasses, which were supposed to help her see clearly, but instead just made everything even more blurry. 10th. After all the incidents between Konoha and Shinju, people are slowly realizing that Boruto is fighting for the village, and that's the reality. And that's at least what Chocho acknowledges. 11th. After a brief conversation between Koji and Boruto, Boruto has now teleported using the flying Raijin technique to the location where Bug is. Yeah, that is the Shinju dimension, the place where Ishiki is located. Not only that, Boruto also proved Koji's earlier statement about Code already knowing everything and hiding. It wasn't the Jugon, but the Byakugan. Boruto had prepared a pretty solid countermeasure. Before he actually got close to the tree, Boruto had already spotted a sign behind it, most likely Code hiding there. And seeing that Boruto intended to return the Togodama Mamushi to save Bug, Code instead insulted Boruto, calling him a fool and hypocrite. Code was even overly confident that he could kill Boruto. 12. Code didn't realize that as Boruto began approaching the tree intending to return the Togodama, especially with his Byakugan active, Boruto had already anticipated Code's attack before Code even knew it was coming. As a result, when Code tried to attack, Boruto used Uzuhiko to knock him down, but luckily Code managed to dodge. 13th. The battle between Code and Boruto did not really happen, just as Koji had said earlier. Considering the huge difference in power between himself and Boruto, Code chose to run away again. Oh yeah, Code is still with his severed hand covered by a claw mark. Lastly, Boruto failed to save Bug's life, and for the first time we see the Togodama rotting together with a smoke disappearing from behind the Togodama. And once again, this chapter also confirms that Bug or Mamushi will indeed never return forever. Chapter 34 ends with Boruto standing in front of that tree, seemingly feeling guilty about failing to save Bug. And yet again, for the umpteenth time, we have to guess what Code will do next and what Boruto will do after his mission to save Bug failed. Whatever your thoughts are, let's chat in the comments. And this is important as well. Since these are still text spoilers, which means there may still be some incorrect dialogues, let's continue reviewing Chapter 34 when it officially releases on Manga Plus on the 20th. I'm Nim without the E. If you enjoyed this, I'd be very happy if you could help me get 100 likes on this video or 1K hype points. And once again, I'm Nim without the E. See you in the Chapter 34 review on the 20th. Bye-bye. Databayo.